Okay, we welcome you back. Time now for Going for the Green, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. As we preview the field this week at the Travelers Championship outside of Hartford and offer a little intel, a little insight, and a little guidance as you invest wisely and responsibly in the players on the board here this week. Here to help us from GolfBet is Chris Brees, who's on location this week at TPC River Highlands. Chris, it's good to see you. Short field this week, just 69 players competing. Who will be the last man standing outside Hartford on Sunday evening?
Well, let me tell you what, Swanee, everybody remembers the iconic weekend at the U.S. Open. I wonder how many folks remember who was leading that tournament halfway through. It was Ludwig Åberg. That's my pick this week at the Travelers. And look, Ludwig clearly did not have his stuff on the weekend. It was because he was learning how to win a major championship venue. Experience was everything last week. He does not have that issue this week. When you're looking at a guy who's hitting the ball really well, I don't know if anybody is playing as well right now as Ludwig Åberg is. Give me that plus 1,200. And the big narrative this week, Swanee, you tell me if you agree with this, is fatigue and exhaustion. I hate to say it, but fatigue hits a little bit different for somebody who's 24 years old as opposed to maybe you or me.
No doubt about it. And $20 million to play for this week. I think they can reasonably expect to shake off the fatigue. That's just my view on it.
Right.
Listen, because it is a short field, there's going to be more value than there traditionally is with a field of 144 or 156. A little further down the board, Chris, who's your value pick this week?
And that's why I'm looking at the top 20 market. And we do something every week on GolfBet called Key Stats, figuring out what all the winners did recently here to make them successful. The shorter course at TPC River Highlands, 125 yards to 150 yards, 50% of shots are hit from that range. Tom Hoge is third on tour in that stat. I got him top 20 at plus 250. And look, you talk about wanting to be in good form. He did not make the cut last week at the U.S. Open, but I think there's value in guys who are rested. Hoge, by the way, made 15 straight cuts before that. 8 of those, John, were inside the top 20, and he's only got to beat 2/3 of the field. Yeah, he hasn't had his best stuff, hasn't contended at the top, but top 20, you don't really need that much. You just got to beat a handful of guys, and I think Hoagie's got the wedge game to do it.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. The ball comes off the center of the club face routinely from Tom Hoge. Shortest golf course of the season on the PGA Tour, by the way, this week at 6,800 and change. And there's some really intriguing head-to-head matchups, Chris, including the guys ranked 1 and 3 in the world. Talking about Scotty and Xander. Which way you leaning in that head-to-head?
Swanee, it would have been a cop-out if I didn't pick this matchup with 2 major winners this year. I'm not fully buying into the hoopla that Scheffler's exhausted, but let's keep in mind, this guy has had a 4-month historic stretch, and just a little bit, he's having maybe some issues playing at the top of his game. I'm going to go Xander mainly for the massive plus money. Plus 130 to beat Scotty, and Xander's been playing almost as good as Scheffler has the last 5-6 months. This is a guy who has been top 25 in every event since, I believe, the beginning of February. He won here a couple of years ago. I think he nips Scheffler just a little bit, and a fantastic matchup.
All right, good stuff, Chris. You can follow Chris Brees on X and his social media accounts. You can read his terrific editorial content in the golf bet space on PGATour.com. He'll be working this week from TPC River Highlands. Thanks, Chris. Good to catch up with you.
Yeah, of course.
So DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the PGA Tour. And this week, new customers can bet $5 and pocket $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the app and use promo code RANGE when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Okay, time now for Fantasy 4, presented by DraftKings, as we help all of you fantasy gamers get your lineups locked in this week for the Travelers Championship. Here's the way it works. 6 golfers on your roster locked in by Thursday morning for the first tee time. There are salary cap implications. You got to manage that. $50,000 is the cap. That's the way the scoring works. The salaries are provided by DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports, and there are a lot of big names with short odds in the field here this week. If you want Scotty Scheffler on your team, you can have him, but it's going to cost you a chunk of that $50,000 salary cap. Number one in the world, Schauffele is number 3 at $11,200. So with that in mind, experts, and we'll start with you, Billy, of the players like Schauffele, the guys we just saw on the board there with the short odds, which way you leaning?
I didn't see my guy. I'm going with Tommy Fleetwood, but there's good reason to go with Fleetwood. It's a short golf course. He's a great driver of the golf ball. He's third on the PGA Tour when you look at the guys that drive it accurately. And he's only missed one cut. He got his 7th win on the DP World Tour. He's just that guy that puts the ball in the fairway. He gives himself plenty of opportunity. When he does miss a green, the scrambling ability is really good. And I think if his iron play just sharpens up just a little bit, I think he's going to be there on Sunday.
9,100, the salary cap hit for Tommy Fleetwood. Amelia, how about you? Did you see your guy on the board there earlier?
I did see my guy on the board. The third one at $10,200. Ludwig Oberg has had 6 top 10s this year, including some notables. Tied for second at the Masters, his first Masters, by the way, and then was the 36-hole leader at the U.S. Open. He didn't play as well as he wanted to on the weekend, so expect him to come out firing this week at the Travelers. One of the best ball strikers in the world already as a 24-year-old coming out of Texas Tech. I'm really excited to see how he performs here at TPC River Highlands.
He is so impressive, right? It's astonishing how much faith we're putting in this the young guy based on his relative lack of experience, but he's such an impactful player, Amelia. How about some value picks, a guy who's maybe a little further down the board this week?
A little further down the leaderboard, I like Matthew Pavone at $6,800. He finished 5th last week at the U.S. Open, and specific things he's improved in his game. First thing is his driving. This season, he's been 91st in driving accuracy. Well, the U.S. Open last week, he finished 24th, so really improving on the driver, and his iron play is also back to the strength, 12th last week at the U.S. Open, so he's going to perform well this week. I think he's a great value pick.
And he's up to 20th in the world. Pavone, Billy, the winner at the Farmers this year, one of around 60 guys who's made the trip from Pinehurst up to TPC River Highlands. Who's your value pick?
I want to go with Denny McCarthy. Even though the form hasn't been kind of what he's wanted lately, he's such a good putter, and when you look at the strokes gained, he's 3rd on the PGA Tour. I just think if he hits a number of greens, he's going to have that good look where he's going to make a lot of putts. And when you look at him and you look at what he did, the work last year, he opened up with a 60 last year. He ended up finishing tied for 7th, but he has good memories of TPC River Highlands. So I think going forward, he's kind of a guy that, even though the form hasn't been good, this is a place that he likes. So maybe.
Yeah, and he pushed Akshay Bhatia to the brink at the Valero, birding his final 7 holes, Denny McCarthy, on Sunday to force that sudden death playoff. All right, let's recap the picks from Amelia and Billy. Tommy Fleetwood with a salary cap hit, $9,100 for Mr. Kratzert. Amelia going with the 24-year-old Swedish sensation, and the value picks. Pavone, the Frenchman, for Amelia, and Denny McCarthy looking for more magic at TPC River Highlands that he was able to produce last year. Hey, DraftKings Sportsbook is an official daily fantasy sports partner of the PGA Tour, and this week new customers can play free for your share of millions in prizes with your first deposit. Download the DFS app and use promo code RANGE when you sign up. DraftKings, the crown is yours.